What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. I'm here to inform the black world that black excellence continues to connect the diaspora with the continent. You know, as the rest of the world burns, Africa is uniting. So the good news is the great island black country of Grenada and the great African country of Nigeria have made a deal to where Nigeria will help Grenada take advantage of their oil resources. Yes, you hear what I said. Nigeria and Grenada have made a bilateral deal without the help of the West, without the help of white institutions, to work together as two sovereign nations in order to exploit for their own benefit their own resources. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the information right here so you can see how Grenada, I've been to Grenada. Grenada is a beautiful, beautiful island full of beautiful and wonderful and super intelligent people. There are a lot of colleges in Grenada. There's a lot of people who go to Grenada to go to college, especially medical school. That's one of the things they specialize in, right? So there's a deal, Nigeria, right, who has a robust infrastructure, you know, as far as oil and gas, as they just came online with their refineries, right? So they're gonna take that and they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna give it to the diaspora in order so they can benefit from the same resources that Nigeria has procured. So this is a great thing, and I'm gonna, anytime something like this happens, I'm gonna let you guys know, because you guys need to know that Africa is uniting under, African people globally are uniting under PAN Africanism. That means African institutions, governments, governmental bodies, non-governmental organizations that originate from African countries, and Caribbeans are African countries. All right, those are our African countries, the Caribbean, right? So it only makes sense for Caribbean countries to unite with the continent on various different degrees, business and economic and governmental wise, in order to prosper and everybody being able to rise and benefit from the abundance that we have despite the rest of the world burning. So anyway, without further ado, check out this information and tell me what you think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
The Dangote $20 billion petrochemical facility located in Lagos, Nigeria, has attracted a visit from the Caribbean island, this time by Deacon Michel, Prime Minister of Grenada.
This investment really is a tribute to him and his fantastic vision. It's a first in Nigeria, it's a first in Africa, and it's really symbolic of what the developing world needs, which is significant investment in industrialization, significant investment in manufacturing and in value add.
The visit draws attention to the partnership and collaboration between Africa and the Caribbean in particular in the area of industrialization, economic independence, and business leadership. The visiting Prime Minister therefore calls for stronger synergies between Africa and the Caribbean.
It's been a wonderful experience. The sheer scale, breadth, depth, sophistication, automation, as well as to see many very bright young Nigerians, particularly at the lab. I think that has been very inspiring, and I think it augurs well for the future development of Nigeria.
Grenada's Prime Minister's remark highlighted a fundamental issue faced by African and Caribbean nations: the cycle of exporting raw materials to developed countries only to import them back as finished products. Just
for Grenada, but I think for CARICOM, and it's not just for the refinery, but I think the wider Dangote group. You've got fertilizer, you've got cement. All of this is needed in the Caribbean as well. And so one of the things that we really need to do better in the developing world, in the black world, and between Africa and its diaspora, is to ensure that we could reorder the logistical and trading patterns that we've inherited from our former colonial masters. So I think for us, that's part of the reason I'm here, to pursue the synergy, the partnership between the diaspora and Africa, between CARICOM and Africa. And so both in terms of the refinery, in terms of the cement, in terms of the fertilizer, and some of the other areas, we certainly think there's a fantastic opportunity to pursue the partnership with CARICOM and Africa.
Grenada's petroleum industry is emerging, with exports of refined petroleum worth less than $10,000 in 2022. The highland nation relies heavily on imports, spending $104 million on refined petroleum in the same year, primarily from Cayman Island and the United States. This reality has driven Grenada to seek stronger partnership with industrial giants like the Dangote Group.
Dangote is a fantastic example of what an African leader should be. And it's not just political leaders we need. We need business leaders who are going to invest in Africa, who are going to invest particularly in manufacturing and industrialization, who are going to ensure that we don't continue to export our raw materials to the developed world so that they can then turn it into sophisticated products and sell back to us. So we need to reverse that cycle. That's really the only way in which we can grow the wealth of Africa and the developing world and the South. And we need to particularly invest in our people, invest in training them, invest in giving them job opportunities so that they can remain in Africa.
Aliko Dangote, founder of the Dangote Group, reflected on the broader significance of his refinery's success for African nation and diaspora.
There are quite a lot of partnership where, the Prime Minister is not only Prime Minister of Grenada, is also the chairman of the Caribbean states. We're looking at also cement. We're looking at petroleum, to buy maybe some crude from them, also to sell some of our petroleum products, because we export to everywhere. We export to US, we've been exporting to Mexico and other areas. So there are quite a lot of collaboration that we're looking at doing between us and them.
Prime Minister Michel's visit to the Dangote refinery highlighted the potential for deeper partnership between Africa and the Caribbean. The visit set the tone for a new era of cooperation that could redefine economic relations between the two regions. Musumola Ogiolu, Arise News, Lagos.
In business news, the Grenadian Prime Minister and Chairman Heads of Government of CARICOM, Mr. Dixon Micheli, says the Caribbean community is conversing for more strengthened trade relations with African countries, especially with Nigerian areas of commerce, oil and gas. Prime Minister said this when he visited Dangote Refinery in the Bejuleki area of Lagos. Sunday Benibo was there.
The arrival of the Prime Minister and his entourage in the company of the management of Dangote Refinery marks the start of the day's activities at the site led by the president of the group, Mr. Aliko Dangote. The Prime Minister and his team take their time to tour the multi-billion-dollar facility.
Our sole aim is to progress with the African region.
The visit aims at fostering a deeper trade collaboration, boosting bilateral ties, and exploring opportunities for stronger partnership with African nations.
And it's not just for the refinery, but I think the wider Dangote Group. You've got fertilizer, you've got cement. All of this is needed in the Caribbean as well. And so one of the things that we really need to do better in the developing world, in the black world, and between Africa and its diaspora, is to ensure that we could reorder the logistical and trading patterns that we've inherited from our former colonial masters. So I think for us, that's part of the reason I'm here, to pursue the synergy, the partnership between the diaspora and Africa, between CARICOM and Africa. And so both in terms of the refinery, in terms of the cement, in terms of the fertilizer, and some of the other areas, we certainly think there's a fantastic opportunity to pursue.
For the Dangote Group, the visit provides an opportunity for business expansion and possibility of buying crude from Grenada.
A lot of partnership where, the Prime Minister is not only Prime Minister of Grenada, is also the chairman of the Caribbean states. We're looking at also cement. We're looking at petroleum, to buy maybe some crude from them, also to sell some of our petroleum products, because we export to everywhere. We export to US, we've been exporting to Mexico and other areas. So there are quite a lot of collaboration that we're looking at doing between us and them.
The visit provides an avenue for the Prime Minister to better understand how Grenada can better partner with African countries to boost trade. He urged African leaders to emulate Dangote's efforts, aim at growing wealth, while investing in citizens to help reduce migration of its best brains. Sunday Binebo, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, staying with the oil and gas industry, Nigerian government has signed a major gas sale and purchase agreement worth $3.3 million between the Shell Petroleum Development Company joint venture and Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Company Limited. The MOU will seal the supply of 270 million standard cubic feet of gas per day, the largest single gas sale and purchase agreement in any domestic gas industry in Nigeria. Helen Osamide Akins reports.
Nigerian governments have been keen on harnessing its vast gas potential with several efforts to develop this sector. One of those efforts is this ceremony to commemorate the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Nigerian government and Shell Petroleum Development Company joint venture. The gas sales and purchase agreement is targeted at monetizing Nigeria's vast gas reserves, which currently stands at over 209 trillion cubic feet. The $3.3 Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical project is expected to generate $1.5 billion annually from exports and reduce fertilizer imports by 30%, saving the country $200 million in foreign exchange annually.
This signing ceremony is a significant milestone in the development of $3.3 billion Brass Fertilizer project. It is one more step in the journey to making the project a reality. And I urge all parties to continue in the same steadfastness that has enabled us surmount all previous hurdles.
I want to commend the SPDC joint partners, Shell, Total Energies, and ENI, who have collectively invested in this project. We believe this will significantly advance Nigeria's gas infrastructure to the next level.
The project, they say, will create over 5,000 direct jobs and 35,000 indirect jobs, contributing $600 million annually to Nigeria's GDP and up to $2 billion in broader economic impacts.
Movement of gas to power areas, over $1 billion by Mr. President and the leadership of the Honorable Minister. Honorable Ministers, I'm excited when I begin to add the numbers. With the signing of this GSA, this year alone, we now have sight to over 1 billion cubic feet of gas a day.
The MOU, if followed to the later, will see a new chapter in Nigeria's journey towards a gas-powered economy. Helen Osamide Akins, TVC News, Abuja.
The stock market closed upwards and some big banks lifted transactions in mid-trade hours. Now, Effiong Gekop has more on markets.
Weekend business at the stock market closed in the positive territory with improved prices from the banking group. GT Holdings recorded price jump of over 2% on the back of strong bids for the bank's shares. First Bank Holdings, Access Holdings, MCN Nigeria and WAPCO Lafarge all lifted market deals. The index of the market went up by 0.13% to stress the gaining streaks. Downside traders with losses included Dangote Sugar, Deep Capital, Chams, LLX and ICO Insurance. The volume of business went above 300 million units of securities valued at 5.9 billion naira. Market analysts believe that this last quarter of the year will witness increased volume of trades at the exchange. Effiong Gekop, TVC News, Lagos.
We're wrapping up business news. Crude oil prices eased today after the previous day's rally, but prices remain set for a second straight weekly gain as investors weigh the impact of hurricane damage on U.S. demand against any broad supply disruption if Israel attacks Iranian oil sites. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell to sell at $75.12 with a downward price margin of 0.96%. Brent experienced a price decline of 0.93% to sell at $78.66. Bonnie Light sells for $78.62 with a downward price review of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, dealers are offering $77.04 with a downward price margin of 1.56%. But that's business news. Next is football tonight. Stay with TVC News.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's PAN Africanism or nothing.